Sunlight drifts across the open plain, breaking through a thin haze of heat. It reflects as a pale streak across the backs of the animals, a quiet shimmer over dust and bone-colored grass. In the far distance, thunder rolls with a deep and heavy pulse, the sound stretching across the horizon and pressing down onto the cracked earth. The air trembles faintly under its weight. Zebra shapes move together in a scattered formation, their black and white stripes glinting faintly in the shifting light. Heads aligned, they step carefully along the edge of the clearing, hooves clicking softly against the dry surface. The rhythm of their movement keeps the herd close, a silent choreography born from instinct and memory. Inside the den, the wild dogs remain hidden from the sun. Their ranks are thin, bodies lean and tense. Eyes glimmer in the shadows, fixed on the invisible line where the land begins to move again. The faint scent of dust and prey rides on the wind. Beyond them, hyenas begin tracing along the wind's quarter, snouts low, tails flicking side to side. Their silhouettes move easily through the rising heat, following the faint paths of fresh hoof prints that stretch across the dry ground dot near the last shrinking patch of water. Buffalo gather in slow motion. Their heavy bodies sink slightly with each step, leaving deep, soft impressions that mark the end of an old route. Around them, flies circle lazily, drawn to the moisture that still clings to the mud. A few meters away, a cluster of antelope stands angled toward the sun. Their backs curve gently, shadows forming narrow arches along their spines. Muzzles brush the dry earth, searching for tender shoots that no longer exist. They stay grouped, their movements slow, their bodies pressed close together, as if the nearness itself offers safety. Lions lie stretched beside the dark stone shadows, muscles loose under the heat. Their eyes, half open and amber bright, follow the distant movement of prey. Tails twitch occasionally, a slow rhythm of patience and hunger. Above, vultures circle earlier than they should, drawn by instinct rather than sight. The hot wind lifts their wings, flattening them over the bright surface as they drift lower and wide. Lazy spirals dot at the edge of a thin lake. Herons glide just above the water. Their wings cut the mirrored surface cleanly, dragging long white reflections behind them. On the salt plains nearby, flamingo eggs begin to crack, tiny sounds lost in the wind. No species waits for the end. Each one moves before the water vanishes completely. The migration began long ago, before the first fissures split the earth. Now every living breath turns toward one direction, following the promise of the last fresh trail. Behind the zebra line, faint shapes move at the border of the sand. They avoid the old tracks, staying close to the herd, searching for new ground that begins where another species ended. The hyenas arrive soon after, padding lightly across the dry ground. For them, the beginning always starts at the end. Light spills across the empty grassland, gold and blinding. A pack of wild dogs emerges in formation, bodies low, shoulders level, feet striking evenly. The wind moves under their bellies, flattening the short grass as they pass. Their shadows stretch long and sharp across the plain. The lead cluster holds its course with precision, following the subtle rhythm of the wind that shifts with each dry groove in the soil. Dust lifts where their paws touch down, then settles quickly, swallowed by the heat. The pack moves as one body, the line tight, seamless, and fluid. Farther out, a small group of antelope moves away from the central field. Their bodies slip between low rocks and brittle grass, angling toward a patch of scattered shade. The wild dogs adjust their formation instinctively. The wind strikes along their spines. Their backs lower. Their shoulders tilt. Speed begins to build. One antelope drifts behind the main group. The separation is slight, but the predators see it instantly. The lead dog leans left, its body cutting the air like a blade. Three shapes fan out in a wide slant, each one spacing itself evenly. The arc closes in a narrow U designed to trap. The target is pushed toward the center. Grass flattens beneath the pressure of pursuit. The central dogs keep pace while the outer runners sweep inward, sealing off escape paths. The ring tightens. The left dog bursts from cover, hitting the ground hard, driving upward into the prey's side. The center dog pivots and lunges toward the neck, jaws clamping deep into the belly. Claws hook into flesh, dragging the antelope down the slope. A rear dog charges in and locks onto the hindquarters. The rightmost cuts across, trapping the leading leg. All force converges at once, every muscle, every breath, driving the prey toward stillness. The dogs divide their positions with silent precision. One holds the head. Another pulls from the chest. One tugs at the thigh while another drags the flank outward. Wind swirls through the grass, spinning dry blades around the carcass. The soil darkens beneath them. Above, the vultures begin their slow descent, tracing circles that grow smaller with every turn. The plain falls quiet again, save for the steady pulse of the wind and the endless rhythm of survival. The ground darkens under spilled blood. Grass clings to exposed tendons, and dust scatters near the wild dog's jaws. One dog breaks away from the pack, carrying a torn portion of meat toward the shade. Its path cuts through the low swirl of dust. Its feet remain steady, tail level, body taut with control. The meat drops onto dry earth. A smaller dog approaches, reaching in to tear loose a strip of tissue. Its front paws brace the edge as its teeth dig deeper. Tendons snap in thin red streaks, and its black fur becomes streaked with blood. Sunlight glints along its curved back. The carcass shrinks until only ribs and spine remain. The wind grows stronger. Sand blows over the blood trail, dust curling and twisting past the body. The iron scent spreads with each gust. One dog stands guard, shoulders tilted, eyes fixed on the remaining antelope beyond the kill site. Another retreats into shadow. Another moves slowly toward the tall grass. The lead has already left the feeding ground, beginning a new trail. Behind them, sand drifts and settles, covering the traces of blood. The pack follows the leader's shadow across the plain. Feet move in rhythm, leaving clean prints pressed into soft sand. What remains behind are bones-curved ribs, pale vertebrae, and flattened grass. A hawk lands to dig its beak into the remains. From the side, a vulture descends, claws tearing into the open belly as the wind shifts under its wings. Far ahead, the pack moves as one across the dry flat. Their tracks cut sharply through the pale dust. Wind has not yet erased their path. The last shadow crosses the feeding border, and the ground fades behind them. Each step kicks up a thin swirl of grit. Each turn redirects the pack's formation. Their trail forms a single line, blood to sand, death to distance. Wind angles sideways. Sunlight tilts left. Gradually, their bodies blur into the dust. Ahead, the grassland opens wide. The horizon burns bright under the unbroken sun. The pack keeps its course, following the driest, straightest wind-line path. Wind from behind sweeps sand across their fading marks. What remains becomes sustenance for other species. Every torn muscle, every scrap of flesh becomes part of the greater chain hunt. Split, carry, guard, abandon, reclaim. No conflict endures, only the pattern. The path stretches into the light. Footprints deepen where grass once stood. Legs stay straight. No bend, no hesitation. Another herd will follow this same route someday, along the same trampled grass, scattered dust, and lingering scent of blood. The wild dogs move toward a hollow in the land. Shoulders dip with the slope. Tails press close to their bodies. Their rhythm holds steady. One after another, their shapes link into a single moving line. Heat rises from the blood-soaked earth behind them, and wind flows softly along the track. Small bodies move between the larger frames, jaws still carrying scraps of flesh. Every step follows purpose. Every bite fits its portion. Each journey leaves a defined trace. Behind them, a hawk circles low, searching for what remains. Ahead, the open ground widens again. The leading shadow clears the first sand ridge. Dust lifts into the new wind, and fresh tracks form over the old ones. The land rises and dips with shallow ridges, short grass growing between scattered rocks. Bare soil glints under the harsh light. Sunlight crashes down upon the plain, stripping away every remaining shadow dot at the basin. A muddy pool stretches into a cloudy patch of water. Near the edge, a large body presses close to the ground. Its back slopes with the contour of the land, shoulders leaning forward, belly pressed against stone. Its eyes follow a narrow crack that leads toward the pool. Another lion crouches nearby in the crushed grass. Its neck turns toward a possible escape route. Claws dig shallow into the soil. Its tail stays straight and motionless, blending its shape into the scorched landscape. Fine dust sweeps over their backs. The grass tilts in the same direction, undisturbed. Ahead, a herd of antelope gathers near the pool. They stand tightly packed, bodies layered and aligned. Their hooves sink into shallow mud, bellies dropping close to the surface. Ripples form with every step. One antelope at the edge turns its head sharply. The herd shifts slightly in response. Then a young antelope hesitates, its rear leg caught in soft ground, its body angled away from the group, creating a small gap in the formation. From the left edge, the first lion bursts forward. Shoulders drive low, claws ripping through dry soil. Grass whips backward as dust flips into the wind. Each stride halves the distance to its charge.